I was 18 when I realized your future doesn't always disappear with a warning. Sometimes, it disappears quietly. I still remember standing in the kitchen holding my college move-in letter, thinking this was the beginning of everything I'd worked for. I had plans, a scholarship, a dorm room waiting, a future that finally felt close enough to touch. And then, in less than 5 minutes, everything changed. Before we continue, welcome to ClamStoriesDrama. If you enjoy real-life style stories with emotional twists and powerful endings, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part. My mother slid a glass of soda across the table like this was just another normal conversation. Ice tapped softly against the glass. That sound stayed with me longer than her words. She looked calm, too calm. Then she said, "The money was gone. Not delayed, not frozen. Gone. My college fund. The one my grandmother had started years earlier. The one everyone always told me not to worry about because your future is covered. Transferred into my older brother Bryce's struggling business. 4 years of planning, 4 years of believing, gone in one decision. And somehow, everyone acted like I was supposed to understand. My name is Paige Thornton. Back then, I still believed that hard work protected people. I had earned a partial scholarship. I worked after school. I planned every detail. I thought effort mattered. But sitting in that kitchen, I realized effort and importance were not the same thing. My mother folded her hands and spoke like she had practiced the conversation. "It's temporary," she said. "Bryce just needs support right now." Support. That word sounded different suddenly, like my future had become a resource instead of a promise. I asked when they made this decision. She didn't answer directly. She just said, "Your brother is at an important stage." And then she said the sentence I still remember word for word. "His business matters more right now." No apology, no hesitation, no discussion. My father stayed quiet. He looked down at the table instead of looking at me. And for the first time, I understood something. This conversation wasn't happening now. It had already happened. Without me. I looked down at my move-in letter and asked the only question that actually mattered. "So, there's nothing left for me?" Nobody answered. The room stayed quiet, and in that silence, something inside me changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, just permanently. Because I didn't know it yet, but the real story wasn't what they took. It was what I decided to do after. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was confused, but because something inside me already knew this wasn't an accident. It felt planned. The next morning, everything in the house acted normal. Too normal. Breakfast, TV, routine conversations, like nothing had happened. But nobody mentioned the money. Nobody mentioned my future. That silence said everything. So I went to the bank. I needed answers. I showed them everything I had. My ID, the account details, my grandmother's savings history. The banker typed for a while, then stopped. That pause changed everything. He told me it was a custodial account, legally controlled by my parents until I turned 18. And since I just turned 18, they still had full control when it was moved. My stomach dropped. I asked if I could reverse it. He shook his head. "I'm sorry. Once it's transferred, there's nothing that can be done." Nothing. That word didn't just hurt. It finalized everything. I sat there realizing something terrifying. This wasn't a mistake. This was legal, by design. When I walked out, the world felt different. Not louder, just colder, because now I understood something clearly. My future was never fully mine in that house, and I had just been shown proof of it. After the bank, something in me stopped reacting emotionally. It wasn't anger yet, it was clarity. Back home, everything looked normal again, but I could see it differently now. The house wasn't a home, it was a system. Bryce was always the center. His problems were always urgent. His failures were always explained, and his consequences never really existed. But mine always did, in silence, in sacrifice, in delay. It wasn't one moment anymore. It was a pattern I had lived in my entire life without realizing it. When he needed help, I adjusted. When things got hard, I stepped back. When money was tight, I was told to wait. And I never questioned it deeply enough. Until now, that realization didn't come with anger. It came with exhaustion, because I finally saw how long I had been carrying things that were never mine. One night, I packed a small bag. Not everything, just enough to step away. My mother noticed and said I was overreacting. Then she said the line that stayed with me. "Don't destroy this family over money." Money. As if that word could explain everything. I didn't argue, because I finally understood something important. They were never going to see it the way I did. So I walked out, quietly, not in anger, in understanding. After I left, I expected chaos, but instead, there was silence. A different kind of life started. Small room, small job, small steps forward, but for the first time, everything was mine. No permission, no control, no explanation needed. Slowly, I started noticing things. How the world actually works, how money moves, how decisions affect survival. I wasn't in a classroom anymore, but I was learning more than ever. Back home, things weren't stable. Bryce's business started struggling. The same system they protected for years began collapsing. Quiet at first, then all at once. And my parents, who once called it temporary, were now trying to hold it together with everything they had left. But there was no more cushion, no more backup. I didn't feel happy about it, just distant, because I realized something important. Systems built on imbalance don't last forever, and I was no longer inside theirs. I was building my own. One day, I got a message from my mother, short, careful, asking if I was okay. I didn't reply immediately because I finally understood the difference between who I was and who I had become. I wasn't waiting anymore. I wasn't asking anymore. I wasn't adjusting anymore. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't part of their decisions. I was part of my own, and that changed everything.